Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we are going to be talking about a super interesting topic, and that is the top 5 mistakes that experienced riders make. And man, I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty much guilty of all of these for short periods of time. I want you to think about these things as we discuss them, because these apply whether you're on 2 wheels or 3 wheels. And quite honestly, they can even apply if you're driving 4 wheels. So, but if you can think of anything else, feel free to share down in the comment section down below, because your input is greatly appreciated. You guys, I want to tell you, I learn every week from the stories you tell and the experiences that you share is what makes this channel so special and makes this community so wonderful. All right, well, before we get going, do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all the stuff you know I always am going to ask you. All right, so number 1, what is the number 1 thing that we do? I'm going to tell you. We get too comfortable. We get too comfortable. You know, we're just riding along. We get in this lackadaisical state. We maybe have the music going. You know, if you're like me and you have the helmet. All right, so you have the helmet and you know what it has in it. It's got the comm system. It's got the speakers. You know, you can listen to your music. You're looking around, it's scenic, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, all the things that make riding so spectacular. And we just get so comfortable that we forget what we're doing. We forget that we're in a dangerous situation. And we forget that we're surrounded by massive vehicles that weigh thousands of pounds that can crush us like we're bugs. And we can. And you know, we do this not because we're bad people, not because we're lazy or apathetic or all that. It's because we're people. We're people, and we get doing the things, and the things that we do, we get more comfortable. If you see someone do woodworking and they're cutting with those blades, I had an uncle years ago cut a board and ended up almost cutting his dadgum leg off with a circular saw. I don't know how he did it. I don't know if he was cutting something in his lap, but it was funny because when he was in the emergency room, he said this to the ER doctor: "I knew what I was doing was dangerous, but I thought that I could get away with it. I was too comfortable with the tool." But he had cut his leg all the way to the bone with a circular saw. Somehow he managed to do it. Really scary situation. He didn't lose his leg, but he missed a golden opportunity, I'll tell you that. And we need to understand that as we get real comfortable on a motorcycle, it's very, very easy to just, don't do that. Don't do that. That'll get you seriously killed. All right, number 2. Number 2 is one that you get into the conversation with riders, and what happens is everyone is sitting there and they can't wait to tell you what they think or what they know, as opposed to listening to others, because we think we know it all. And when we think we know it all, that's a dangerous place to be, because at that point you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. When we know it all, we can't learn anything. It doesn't matter if we want to learn anything. It doesn't even matter if we're going to a course. If all we're going to do is say, I know everything, and tell people how it is to be done. You know, I did a track day last year, and it was great, by the way. Everybody was wonderful. The instructors were great. I felt I just felt inept. I felt like I really didn't belong there. Now, I'm not going to say I was the slowest rider or the worst rider there. I wasn't. But there were times where I felt like it. And when we would have conversations, there was another rider, I won't mention his name, who was in a group with me. And he was a much better rider than me. The instructors were so frustrated with him because all he would do is tell the instructors how it should be done. And he didn't learn anything. And when he left, he didn't get anything out of it. Me, honestly, I felt like I learned so much that I was barely scraping the tip of the iceberg. Not even enough to make a smoothie. It was crazy how much there is to still learn after riding for many, many, many years. I don't know it all. And I don't propose to know it all. I am not an internet cowboy expert who has all of the answers. I don't. So don't think you know it all, because you probably don't. Number 3. Now, number 3, this one will get you killed. And I've ridden with guys who do this a lot. And I will flash my brights and slow down in order for them to stop doing this. And it's called tailgating. Tailgating will get you killed, man. I'm telling you, and especially in a world today where people will brake check you. Folks aren't reticent about brake checking you. If they don't like you being there, they'll slam on their brakes, and all of a sudden, you're eating the rear end of a Pinto. And that's not a good thing, because if you're old like me, you remember them things blowing up because of their faulty gas tanks. You don't want to eat the rear end of a Pinto. There are worse places to be, but I can't imagine one at the moment. Understand, the world is not like it was. The interstate systems are extremely busy. They're extremely dangerous. And all it takes is just a momentary lapse of awareness, and you're right up the rear end of somebody, and all of a sudden they stop and you can't. And there you are, man. And it can be really, really ugly. So do not tailgate. Tailgating will get you seriously killed. All right, number 4. Number 4 is one that you can do without realizing you're doing it. I've done it. I really try not to do this. I try to be very, very diligent about this whole scenario, and that is riding in blind spots. I've even done a video where I showed the A-pillar, how I can step behind of an A-pillar. That's the pillar that holds the windshield in, and then you have the B-pillar, right? That's the one behind the door. Those spots, the blind spot in the back of a van, that corner off that back quarter panel, those spots, those drivers, when they're glancing, they can't see you. They just can't see you. What they're looking at, here's a car, okay? Here's a motorcycle. They're looking for this, not for this. And they will look right at you and not see you. And if you drop behind that A-pillar, they don't see you because you're not sticking out. You just disappear. And that's what happens. So be careful, be very, very careful about riding in blind spots, because blind spots are dangerous places to be. All right, so number 5. Now I want you to do me a favor before we get to number 5. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Okay, we're done with that. Now, number 5 is that we quit learning. This is the most dangerous thing that you can possibly do in life. Generally speaking, if you want to kill your mind, kill your body, and kill your soul, then quit learning. It doesn't just apply to motorcycling, but it definitely does apply to motorcycling. It's just not the only thing in your life that you should be learning. Motorcycle riding is a constant changing thing. Motorcycles are a lot different now than they were 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Motorcycles are way more complex. They have way more power. They have way better acceleration. You will be 0 to 100 like that on a 900cc motorcycle, and it is scary fast how quickly you will get there. It is just, it is nuts. They have a lot of helpful things on motorcycles, corner ABS and lean angle controls and all of these things, wheelie control, rain mode, sport mode, road mode, off-road pro mode, rider modes, all these things. And it is very, very complex. And what we do, we take that knowledge that the machine has and we assume that it's going to save our bacon. And it's not. What it's going to do, it's going to fry your bacon in a big old pan, and then you're just going to be, a smelly piece of bacon. But understand, you have to keep learning. Now, many of you know that I am a coach. All right, you see this right here? This is a book called 3D Coaching. All right. This book was given to me by the athletic director at our school. I'm going to tell you, the athletic director at our school thinks that I am a wonderful coach. She thinks that I am an awesome coach. Every year, it's just it's wonderful the way I'm treated. But she knows all coaches need to continue learning. And she gave me this book. And this is a wonderful book. If you are into leadership of any kind, this book right here will really help you. It's forwarded by Bobby Bowden, and it is just, it's everything about putting the joy back into things and restoring the confidence of your players and all of the things that you need to do as a coach. And those things are important. Many of you may know that I also play guitar. You know, I'm not a jazz player, I'll tell you that. But I like to learn and I like to work at it. Motorcycling is the same way. I've shared many motorcycle books on this channel. Understand, there are books out there. There are books out there that are available to you that you need to look at. The internet is an amazing resource. There are tons of channels out there. Moto Jitsu, if you don't watch his channel, you should. Now, this guy has way more subscribers than I could ever dream of. There's another Ride Like a Pro. These guys are professionals. They're professionals, and they're really, really talented people, and they're always learning. As they teach, they are learning. They never say they know it all. I did a video on a motorcycle police officer that lives a few doors down from me, and you saw the skill at which he rides his machine, and it is unbelievable. And he is always learning, always getting better, always looking to know a little more about the connection between man and machine so that he never gives up. So as we come to a conclusion, and the conclusion is that there is no conclusion. You keep learning. You don't conclude anything. That's the point. That is the point. All right, so there you have it. 5 things that experienced riders, we're guilty of it. If you think of anything else, please feel free to drop a comment down below and share your knowledge. You are a wealth of knowledge, and I want to hear what you have to say. I am more than willing to learn from you. All right, so do me a favor until next time. You go out by the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are definitely doing it wrong. And I'll see you on the road real soon.